Hey everybody, and welcome into another edition of the St. Ignatius Broadcasting Network's Across the Table as we look at the 2011 varsity Wildcats. Last week was our first edition of this year. This week we have our second edition as the Wildcats will be getting set for their Week 4 matchup against the Centerville Elks at Byers Field, 7 o'clock Saturday night, right here on the SIBN. I'm with Greg Zeiden, and I'm John Fanta. And Greg, the Wildcats come off a 38-24 loss Friday night in a tough environment playing Menor, and there were some bright spots in that game, but overall just could not get over the hump and get the job done.
Yeah, the bright spots you mentioned, one, the offensive line looked a lot better last week than they had in the first two. Pass protection improved, and that run blocking was really impressive. Tim McVeigh on those off-tackle runs got racked up a heck of a lot of yards. That was very successful. The offense looked a little bit better than they had. Blake Thomas got involved, so that's always a good sign. And some of the struggles, 4 turnovers, obviously the most in any game so far, and they basically all hurt. The fumbled punt gave Menor a 14-0 lead to start the game. Wildcats were able to come back. And then down 7 late in the fourth quarter, that Tim McVeigh fumble really killed their chances. They were in scoring position, and that basically was the end of the game.
Well, McVeigh had a great game, near 300 yards of rushing in that ball game. And that offense, they struggled early. It's the third game in a row that they've really struggled early on, and then they seem to get back their mojo. But it's interesting to note that they're having issues early, and it'll be interesting to see how they do against Centerville, a team that has struggled early on in the year, but is going to come out with a vengeance.
They're going to come out with a vengeance, and the Wildcats are as well. If you remember that game last year when the Wildcats went to Centerville and didn't play very well.
No.
That was a long bus ride home, and I'm sure the seniors on this team don't want that to happen again. They remember last year, and they're going to be ready to play this time.
A team that's 1-2 and has faced 2 very good opponents in Cincinnati Elder and Indianapolis Cathedral, along with Ontario Oak Ridge. But the thing to notice here is it's a completely different style that they've run of offense. Menor with that spread empty backfield offense. Trubisky, give him credit for everything he did. He really had a nice game. This is a different offense that Centerville runs in the triple option.
Oh, it's completely different. Menor's pass first. You basically know they're going to pass the ball every time. Trubisky would only run if the play broke down. The triple option, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Option 1, quarterback runs it. Option 2, quarterback hands off to one of the backs. And option 3 is a pitch to one of the wings.
Yes, if you like running, then you are going to love to watch this game. If you like hard-nosed football, you're really going to like this on Saturday night. Because not only does Centerville have the running attack, but you look at McVeigh, who has had 3 successful games and has really carried this offense all the way. We'll be looking at that on Saturday night. Along with that, now let's turn to the Wildcat defense. And going back to the Centerville offense, it's an offense that is trying to freeze the linebackers instead of coming on the blitz, because you never know. The thing about them is they'll run, and then occasionally they'll have a pass, and that can really throw a defense off guard. So it's going to be interesting to see how that defensive line penetrates on Saturday night.
Yeah, that's always a key. They did a good job of that last week, but of course with a quarterback that can run in Trubisky, even if they got penetration, that didn't necessarily lead to success because Trubisky did run out of a fair amount of pressure.
Yes, absolutely. You look at both sides of the ball, and special teams, of course. What do you think is your biggest concern? What are you looking for? Coming off a loss, what do you look for from the Wildcats in Week 4?
Well, you mentioned earlier the slow starts for the offense. That really is my biggest concern. Centerville, now they're not as explosive as Menor, obviously, but they can score points. If you're the offense of St. Ignatius, you don't want to be playing from behind like you were last week. Of course, last week they were able to come back, but still much easier to play in a close game, more play ahead.
The Wildcats and the Elks tied with the series 1-1. They faced each other twice, the third time being at Byers Field Saturday night. We will start with the Murphy Bergen pregame show at 6:45 with Greg and myself. 7 o'clock kickoff time at Byers. We'll be there right with you, everybody. See you Saturday night.